Hello everyone! Good morning or good afternoon. Here it's 12 p.m. in New York City. Yes, I am in New York City. If you're new to the channel, I am Italian, 100%. My whole family is in Italy right now. I was supposed to be in Italy too, but because of COVID, I am in New York City, where I've been living since the start of this pandemic. And this is the very first year that I spent Christmas not in Italy, not with my family. So I thought that for this live stream, I am gonna tell you a little bit how Christmas is in Italy. What traditions do we have? How do we celebrate Christmas? And all these things, because last week I did another live stream and you kept asking me these questions. So I thought about condensing everything in one live stream. In the meantime, some people started to join. Hello, Don Vito Cascioferro. David, hello. It's Christmas Eve today. Yes, it's the 23rd, Wednesday, 23rd of December. Such an amazing day. I am super excited, as you can understand. No, I haven't drank any coffee today. It's just 2 days to Christmas, you know. Hello from Montreal. Hello there. Okay, so because this is gonna go in playback as well, I'm gonna start while people join in to tell you how we celebrate Christmas in Italy right away. And then I'm gonna come back to the live chat. So to prepare this live stream, this knowledge that I have about Christmas in Italy, I had to ask to several friends of mine. I sent a series of WhatsApps because I only know how Christmas is celebrated in my family, but every family is different. Also, every region in Italy is different. So I asked to some friends, but obviously most of them are in the northeast of Italy, where I'm originally from, or from the north. So I'm sorry about that. Anyway, Christmas in Italy starts around the end of November, the Christmas period, obviously, beginning of December with the Advent, I think it's called in English. So the period of the 4 weeks before Christmas, especially there are 4 Sundays which compose the Advent period, and every Sunday you usually lit a candle. So families usually have, this is not common in all families in Italy, by the way. For example, in my family we don't do this. It's more common in Germany and in German speaking countries. You have a wreath that it's something that you put on a table with 4 candles, and every Sunday you lit 1 candle or 1 extra candle. So the second Sunday of the Advent you will lit 2. The third Sunday you will lit 3 candles, and so on. So that's the first thing. Let's see who is in the chat. Oh, so many people. Hello, Johannes from Germany. I just mentioned Germany because I know that the Advent is very traditional and very common there to celebrate. We have some families who celebrate Advent in Italy, but not all of them. Hello Kalkan, hello Tech7, hello Josh Ritter. Hello Judith, happy holidays you too. Jorge, hello. Sarah, John, hello John. So is there anyone in the chat who doesn't know what Christmas is? Because I was thinking, we give for granted that Christmas is common knowledge, but there are billions of people on this planet who don't celebrate Christmas. And I have followers really from every country in the world and every culture, not every, but from several different ones. So just to sum up, Christmas is a religious holiday. It's a religious celebration for the Christian religion. Okay, so this is the very basic of Christmas. this might be useful also for some people who don't know that Christmas is a religious tradition, I guess, because in the United States, it's been until nowadays. For example, right now I'm in New York City, and in the city the religious part of the holiday is not really felt that much, at least this is my impression here. So it might be that some immigrants, you know, from countries that don't celebrate Christmas come here to New York City and they think that they know what Christmas is, but maybe they really don't. So Christmas Day is on the 25th of December every year, no matter what day of the week it is. And it's the day where the Christian community celebrates the birth of Jesus, who was the Messiah. So it's the most important historic figure of the Christian religion, and it's a historic figure. Like, Jesus was a human, but he was also a prophet, and for example, Jewish recognized Jesus as a prophet. As Christians, he was the Son of God who incarnated to come to the earth and spread his message among humans, and then he resurrected after he died. So the particular thing about the birth of Jesus is that he was born from a virgin woman whose name is Mary, Saint Mary, and therefore on the 25th of December, which is not the historical date of the birth of the historical Jesus, by the way, but it's just a rule in the Christian community. On the 25th of December, we celebrate the birth of Jesus. That's all. And of course, for Christians, it's a very big celebration. It's the second most important religious celebration after Easter, which is usually in the springtime, and where we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. Okay, so that's probably more important for the religious aspect, but Christmas, together with the cultural meaning that the event has, is probably the most important one for Christians all over the world, I would say. So that was a little recap about what Christian is. Ali Cat, nice to see you again. I haven't heard from you in a while. Thank you for the super chat. Merry Christmas to you too. Ali Cat writes, I can't stay long, but excited to watch the replay later. Sending love and blessings. Have a wonderful holiday. Thank you so much for the love and blessings, and for stopping by, Ali Cat. So I'm already getting questions about what's my favorite dessert. We are gonna arrive to the food. So I'm gonna tell you all about the food that we consume on a Christmas Day in Italy. But before that, let me recap about what are the traditions that Italians have to celebrate Christmas. So I said some families celebrate the Advent, but then not so many, I must say. On the last live stream last week, we talked about Saint Nicolaus, San Nicolò in Italian, Saint Nicholas in English. I guess it's the right pronunciation. So the way in my area of Italy Saint Nicholas is celebrated is from the 5th of December. So Saint Nicholas is on the 6th of December, but on the evening of the 5th of December, at the border with Austria especially, we have the Krampus. The Krampus are, it's definitely a pagan. Do you say pagan in English when it's an adjective that you use for a celebration that is not religious? So let me know if I'm using the right word. The Krampus is a pagan celebration coming from the Celtic roots of our population in the northeast of Italy and Austria especially. I don't know if also in other German-speaking countries, they have the Krampus too, but it's a very specific kind of event, and it's really scary. I was a very little kid. I was the smallest of all the kids in the group of families that we used to go to these celebrations. And whereas the other kids who were, you know, teenagers, if not in their 20s, were enjoying this event very much, I was extremely scared. And I downloaded some pictures to show you what a Krampus is. Where are they? Why can't I find them? Let's see if I can use this this program. So these are Krampus. Let me see what people are saying in the live chat in the meantime. Cosimo de Medici says, nice username. The Greek god of wine, Dioniso, I don't know how it's called in English, was born on the 25th of December from a virgin. He did many miracles and turned water into wine. He was also resurrected from death. I don't know if this is true or not. I studied a lot of things about Dionysus, but I've never heard that he was born on the 25th of December. I also am confused about how we would know the exact day of the birth of Dionysus, since he was a mythological creature. Not sure about that. David says, for Orthodox Christians, Christmas, the Nativity, is on the January 7th. It follows the old calendar. Yes, David, well said. So the deal with Orthodox Christians is that they follow a complete different calendar. So all the days of the year are kind of shifted 2 weeks forward somehow. I have some friends here in New York City that are Serbian, for example, so they are Orthodox Christians. And actually 2 days ago we went to a little kind of party celebration, dinner celebration, where they were celebrating Saint Nicholas, and this was like 3 days ago. So yes, they have different days. Yes, we use pagan pronouns. Pagan. Okay, pagan. Thank you, Coco. Nice that you wrote the pronunciation for me. Hello, Stephanie. Hello, MC Rachel from Chicago. Gary says, speaking of food, I'd love to see you do some collabs with Pasta Grammar. I've heard this name before. It would be fun to see two people from different parts of Italy talk about food and other things. Hello, Perseo Eridano. Nice to see you here. Okay, let's go on. King01, thank you for the super chat. From UK, I guess, since it's in pounds, I think. Someone asked, Raffaele, è meglio il Pandoro? It's better Pandoro or Panettone? We're gonna talk about that later in the live stream. Hang on. So this is another picture of Krampus. This is actually in the town where I used to go, in Tarvisio, Friuli. And as you can see, the central image is Saint Nicholas. So we were talking about Santa Claus last time. I wasn't sure who he was. Apparently Santa Claus is the anglicized version of Saint Nicholas, I think, who was a bishop. Not sure about this. But as you can see here in Austria/Italy, it's represented as a bishop. Stephen Michalski, oh my god, Michalski, I think it's your last name. Thank you very much for the super chat. That's a nice Christmas present, 25 bucks. I'm glad to see you here, by the way. You didn't miss the stream. Yes, you didn't this time. So is anyone familiar with the Krampus? Nobody's talking about it. John Butera, hello! From upstate New York. Thank you for the super chat. John asked me, John is one of my patrons on my Patreon page, did you study religion as part of your philosophy studies? I could have chosen to take some courses and give some exams in religion, but I didn't. So the answer is no. But it's very common among philosophers in Italy to study history of religions. It was just my choice not to do it. We study a little bit history of religions in the public schools in Italy, not public, in the schools in general in Italy, of religion studies, and we usually try to learn something about other big religions of the world. Kevin, buon Natale Mary Jane, spero che tu sia felice e in salute. Grazie Kevin, anche a te. Hello QWERTY, another one of my patrons. So nobody knows about the Krampus. Okay, never mind. This was on the 5th of December. Then on the 6th of December there is Saint Nicholas, and sometimes he brings presents to kids. In my experience, it's very rare that celebrates Saint Nicholas. I come from the north, I don't know how the situation is in the south. Another important day in December, Christmas Day for Italians, is the 8th of December. The 8th of December is actually national holiday in Italy, so you don't go to school, everything is closed, people don't go to work. It is a religious holiday, Immacolata Concezione, but nobody really knows, unless they are very religious, what it is about. So it's not celebrated, the 8th of December is not celebrated as a religious holiday, but we take the chance in that day, because everyone is at home, to make the Christmas tree at home. So this is not in every family, but usually you make the tree on the 8th of December. Only we make the Christmas tree, but we make some other decorations in Italy which are not what you think. So I've seen that here in the United States people have a lot of Christmassy decoration around the house, which include wreaths and plants like this one, and inside the house, and several different other things with candles. We are not big at that in Italy. We have some wreaths sometimes, but our main thing besides the Christmas tree is the Presepe. Hello from Virginia. Hello, you know about Krampus. Nice to hear, at least someone. Okay, so who knows about Presepe? What it is Presepe? Or Presepio? It's basically a nativity scene that we reproduce with very little statues in Italian families, but we also recreate it in schools, in churches, sometimes even on the street. If there are some nice corners with a couple of benches, then you prepare a table and you recreate this Presepe. Let me show you. I have a picture of Presepio too that I prepared. So this, for example, this is what we make. I actually prepared way more pictures on this app, but I can't find them now. This is not a great picture of a Presepe, honestly. Also, of the Krampus, I had way more pictures. Well, what can I say? That's all I got. It's simply a representation of the scene of the Nativity, and we usually make it in December, and then, you know, some families make a bigger thing, some families make a smaller thing, some families have like a whole corner of the house that is just for this, and they put so many little statues. They recreate the whole town where Jesus was born, which was Bethlehem, in Palestine. And some families, I remember this, they even have water running. So they create a whole water system with little cascades. It's so pretty. In my family, we've never done anything like that. It was already a big thing if we did a little corner with a couple of statues. Usually you don't put Jesus out in the Presepe until the 25th, because he's not born until the 25th, right? And then you add the three kings, i re magi in Italian, on the 6th of January, for who is familiar with that. Sorry, I'm reading the chat. Kalkan asked me to tell about Befana. Befana is not a Christmas figure. It's for the Epiphany, which is on the 6th of January, so much later than that. I can make another live stream where I talk about our tradition for the 6th of January. Hello, Carbonero from Uruguay. Here we haven't... Sorry, I have struggles reading my chat. Okay, here it's better. Here we haven't the holiday, but we prepare the Christmas tree on the 8th as well. Nice to know. Antonello, I'm reading your comment, but I'm not understanding it, so I'm not gonna read it. If you want to reformulate, maybe, so that I can understand it better. So Raffaele is from the south of Italy, and he says he's never heard of Krampus. Of course, because Krampus is a very northern celebration. It comes from the Celtic traditions. So you, based on what I know, you've never had Celtics in the south of Italy. We did in Friuli, and that's why I said that Krampus is also even more popular in Austria. Steven Mikalski inherited a bunch of different nativity scene figures. Don't use them. I'm not religious. Yeah, I can understand that. Also, we were a religious family when we were kids. Growing up, we kind of, as siblings, we lost that. We lost faith, so we didn't make the Presepe anymore. But not. My father still makes it at home, for example. So Antonello Abruzzese of making religious traditions at school, in public schools. And he says that I guess it's a whole debate that came out with the big wave of immigration that we've had in the past decades in Italy. Immigration that comes from cultures that have different religion, especially Muslim religion. And since this happened in Italy, we started questioning the fact that we have, sometimes we have the cross in the wall, or we make Presepe, for example, for Christmas in the schools. We have all these Christian traditions in school. And now that especially in big cities, we have many Muslim kids in the classes, we should question the fact that whether it still makes sense or not. But this is also a very, very big cultural, political debate that I don't want to go into right now, because I don't really have an opinion on it. Or maybe I have a little bit, but I haven't researched or read enough to, share it with the public. Johannes, thank you for the super chat. Another nice Christmas present for you, from you, Johannes. Kunal, I think, channel in the last few days, and he keeps commenting on my channel everywhere that I look like Emma Watson, the actress, which I don't think I do, by the way. But Kunal, we understood the concept. You can't stop. I read all the comments, even if I don't address them, I read them. Kurt, someone says, be very careful with religion on YouTube. I don't care. Religion and politics are something that we are making them taboos, and I think that is so absurd. We have to talk about these things. Why not? Also, religion, I am not religious, but religion is certainly part of my tradition. It's part of my family, it's part of who I am, it's part of my upbringing. So I don't know why I shouldn't talk about religion. Hello, Mark. Merry Christmas from Nice in the south of France. Wow, near Italy. Yes, big fan. Thank you, Mark. Or Marc, I guess. I don't know. Johnny Crash, hello! Another of my Patreons. Johnny is from Connecticut, so he's my neighbor here in New York City, almost. Thank you for the super chat. Hi, Mary Jane. I have no audio. Trying to figure it out. Oh my god. In the meantime, I would like to wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas and a healthy and hopefully better 2021. Thank you. Thank you. Judith and Stephanie, my moderators, I give you permission to block Kunal if he keeps spamming the chat, okay? All right. So, this was it for Presepe. This thing of Presepe is actually very nice in Italy, these scenes of the Nativity, because not only people make them in their houses or in indoor spaces like schools and church, it outdoors, in the towns. And sometimes you can even go and take tours of Presepe, because they're really, sometimes they become little work of arts somehow, because there are people who make the statues and stuff. And I remember when I was a kid, for a couple of Decembers, I went to take a tour of nearby towns to look at all the most beautiful Presepe. We also have live Presepe. For example, in the town of Brazzacco, which is close to mine in the province of Udine, northeast of Italy, they do I believe on Saint Stephen, which is on the 26th of December, so the day after Christmas, they do the living Presepe with real people. And I've heard that in Naples it's a huge thing of doing living Presepe, and they do them by recreating the scene of the Nativity in nowadays clothes and nowadays, environment, I think. Whereas we tend to recreate the historical clothes and everything. Kiki, have you been to Genoa, Savona? I've never been to Savona. These are cities in the region of Liguria, in the northwest of Italy. I've been to Genoa, sì. All right, let's go on with the Christmas traditions in Italy. So this was the 8th of December, where we make the Christmas tree and the Presepe. So we prepare the house for Christmas. On the 13th of December, which was the date of my last live stream last week, it's Santa Lucia, Saint Lucy or Lucia or Lucia, I don't know how it's called. And as I said the other time, in some families, this is not celebrated all over Italy, by no means. Only in some families, this is the morning where kids receive gifts. So it's, for example, in my family, this was the case. We didn't have Babbo Natale, which is sort of Santa Claus, I think. Babbo Natale comes in the day of Christmas, on the 25th. Whereas Santa Lucia comes on the 13th, and she brings presents if you have been a good kid during the year. If you have been a bad kid, she brings you carbon or something bad. And then we have, those 2-3 weeks before Christmas when you are still going to school, going to work, but there is this festive kind of atmosphere that is very beautiful. This is the period around, the center of December. And well, what do we do in Italy? During this couple of weeks before Christmas, we have a lot of little Christmas parties. For example, if you work in an enterprise, you will have a Christmas party with your colleagues. Maybe one Friday after work, you finish work at 5, and then from 5 till 7 or 8, you eat panettone and you make a toast of Merry Christmas with all your colleagues and your boss and stuff like that. We also have a lot of dinners among friends to wish each other Merry Christmas. So the younger and poorer people usually go to get a pizza together. This is one of the uses of pizza in Italy, by the way. Or you go to a normal restaurant and you have a big dinner just to, celebrate the Christmas atmosphere and to wish happy holidays to your friends that you are not gonna see during the holidays, because usually Christmas is a family time for us rather than friends time. What else? Oh, also in the schools, the kids make little handmade presents for the families. So they can be very simply, postcards with Merry Christmas, but if the teacher is better, with their hands, always with very poor materials, with either natural materials that they can find in the park or with paper, with things like that. And these little things that kids do in school, very often they go to decorate the Christmas tree. So, for example, in my family, we are 3 siblings, and within all the year, by 3 kids, we have a lot of these decorations hanging on our Christmas tree. So our Christmas tree doesn't really have those decorations that you buy, and it doesn't really have new decorations because we are all grown-ups now. So we have the same decorations since we were kids. Let me scroll the chat a little bit. Oh, Stephanie and Dushan are saying that there is an old song by Albano about Santa Lucia. I didn't know that. Albano is a very famous old Italian singer. Coco also says that if you are bad, you receive coal. Someone says that the Wi-Fi is lagging. Is it my Wi-Fi or yours? The voice is out of sync. Oh my god. What's happening? When next vlog is coming? I just published one vlog this morning before starting this live stream, and the next one is gonna come very soon. It's a Christmas vlog, so I wanted to publish it tomorrow, which is Christmas Eve, but I'm not gonna be able to. Stephanie, thank you, is suggesting that if your image is not in sync with audio, refresh your page. Thank you, Stephanie. This is for you, because if I refresh my page, this live stream is gonna stop. George asked, what is my favorite Christmas movie? I don't have a favorite Christmas movie. I don't really have Christmas movies. We don't watch movies for Christmas in Italy, with some exceptions. There are some Italian Christmas movies. Hola Donkey asks, is there a homemade panettone or you just buy it at the store? For who doesn't know what panettone is, it's the symbol of Christmas desserts in Italy. It's, wait, I prepared a picture with panettone so I can show you. Aha! So this is the dessert that every Italian family has to have for Christmas. And even before Christmas, when I was telling you, you do these little Christmas parties with your colleagues, you always have at least one of these panettone and you share it together. Let me show you the inside of this. This is the inside. And it's, as you can see inside, it's like it's sort of like a cake or sweet bread. I don't know how to define it. It's sweet, obviously, but you can see it's a leavened kind of dough. And you usually put raisins in it and almonds on top, and also candied fruit inside. And quite complicated process to make, so almost nobody does it at home. I know no one who does it at home. Even people who are very passionate about baking, they don't even try it because it's complicated. Most of families buy it at the supermarket. Unfortunately, we buy the commercial one, which is very cheap and very, industrially made. But I've seen that in the past few years, more and more bakeries do it artisanally. Expensive. One of these at the supermarket, you can buy it from 5 to 10 euros, or even less than 5 euros sometimes, especially when the Christmas is past, they have to sell. If it's artisanally made, one of them will cost 30 to 50 euros each. Obviously, it's completely different. Alicat loves panettone. I've seen that here in New York, it's sold, the industrial one is sold the local Trader Joe's, you can find it. I haven't tried it though. Yeah, so in the chat there is a discussion going on whether movies, Christmas movies, are as important as the Christmas meal for Americans, because apparently in the United States it's a big thing, right, to watch Christmas movies. Johannes, a super chat with a question. Thank you for the super chat, Johannes. How will your Christmas routine be in the next few days? Unusual, that's the answer. My Christmas routine will be very unusual. I think I will spend the rest of today and tomorrow editing my Christmas video that I was supposed to publish either today or tomorrow, but I'm not gonna be able to make it before Christmas, so it will come out after Christmas. It's a video where I show how I prepared my apartment in New York City for Christmas and how I tried to recreate a little bit of Christmas feeling without having my family around this year. Yeah, that's it. And then tomorrow, which is the Christmas Eve, at my husband's restaurant, I think there will be a little informal event going on. I think how to explain this? It's a choir. Like the barista of the restaurant of my husband, he's a singer, and he organized the Christmas Carol choir at 3 p.m. I think. So I think if I have to force myself to get out of this apartment, stop editing, and go to see this choir. And then on the Christmas day, it will be a big day of video calls with my family in Italy. That's what it's gonna be. Also going to cook something. What am I going to cook for Christmas? I'm gonna tell you in a moment. Let me go on 1 second with the Italian traditions for Christmas. So we have a religious tradition for Christmas, which is the 9 days before the Christmas day. It's called novena in Italian. I don't know if this is a thing in every, it's called novena, and every evening there is a moment of prayer in the church in preparation to Christmas. The beautiful thing about this, and I have to thank my good friend Elisabetta from my hometown for telling me about this, because I completely forgot. I used to go to the mass when I was a kid, but then it's been 15 years that I haven't been, so I completely forgot about this. We have in Friuli, in my region, I looked it up on Wikipedia, honestly, and I just discovered that it's a Friulan tradition. It's not everywhere. We have something called missus. Missus is a sang prayer during the 9 days before Christmas. I used to go to this thing when I was younger, when I used to go to the mass, and it was absolutely beautiful. I remember it, and it was such a beautiful chanting. It's all in Latin, but it's a very easy Latin to understand for us Italians. And the melody is very beautiful. I actually, because I had to find, missus, that is the Missus Mass, sang in one of the towns of my region. So you can, if you want, you can click on it. Do you see the link, by the way? You can get an idea of what it is. I think it's a very beautiful chanting, and you have to understand that this is made every evening before Christmas, so it really gets you in the mood for Christmas, also in a spiritual way. And this Latin chanting is simply the story, the description of the Nativity of Jesus. So it's a very beautiful story. It's almost for kids. It's like a story for kids. Oh, QWERTY suggests Corpse Bride as a movie for Christmas. Is it Tim Burton's movie? Because it has a different name in Italian. I think this is a Tim Burton's movie. It's an animation movie, right? If that's the case, yes, I've watched it and it's beautiful. I love Tim Burton's movies. Stephanie asks, have you done a Handel's Messiah sing-along ever? No. And I honestly don't even know if I know the music. So I should look it up after I finish this live stream. Okay. Shall we start with the food? With what in Italy we eat for Christmas? Let me know. Yes, Rachel and Stephanie and Judith as well sang the Handel's Messiah, and I should really, maybe if one of you wants to send me a link of a video of the Handel's Messiah in, private messaging so I can check it out, or you can, even better, in the comments of this post a link. G. Ricard says or asks, do you believe Jesus was born on the 28th or even Christmas and the story you are told from a young age? Do you really believe in the whole story? G. Jesus was not born on the 25th of December. That's something that every Christian knows, I think. 25th of December is just the date that the church has decided to celebrate the birth of Jesus. Do you really believe in the whole story? Well, I know, so I have no problems believing that, a certain Jesus was born at some point. If I believe in it, no, because I'm not a believer in God. I have no faith, so no. Someone talks about spaghetti for Christmas in Italy. No. That's not food. That's food for every day, not for Christmas. Okay, people. Oh, let me get rid of this link. Let's start talking about food. I think we could talk for days about what Italians eat for Christmas, especially because there is so much in whole Italy. For example, in the south, they have different traditions than in the north, I believe. I was only able to get the answer from one southern friend of mine from Apulia, who told me that their traditions want fish for, and this is something that I've heard also, that in the south they celebrate on the Christmas Eve, so the famous cenone, so big dinner. They celebrate with this big dinner on the Christmas Eve, where they usually eat fish. And I believe that they try to this evening, obviously, because in the day after they have to, go on with the food. So it's probably a lot of vegetables and lean fish. Some families celebrate on Christmas Eve, some other don't. In my family, for example, we've never celebrated on Christmas Eve with the family, except last year, because we've had now, my older cousins are starting to have kids. So last year we had so many branches of the family to split ourselves to that we celebrated on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the day after Christmas. 3 different days of eating and celebrating. So that's the problem usually in Italy, that you want to spend time or at least one big meal with every part of your family. And usually this is, you have to split yourself and decide, you have a lunch with a part of family, and then for dinner you go to the other part of family, because obviously we all have father and mother. So there is the family on the side of the father and the family on the side of the mother, and all that stuff. So that's always the most complicated part of Christmas for us Italians. That's why some of us also start early on the Christmas Eve to celebrate with family. So it's a thing. Usually fish. In my family we don't eat fish for Christmas at all. It's only meat. On the Christmas Eve, for religious people, there is the midnight mass, which is the biggest mass of the Christmas period, I got 2 super chats. Thank you. I'm gonna get back to you in a moment. So at midnight we have the big mass, to which many people go, not only the usual people who go to the mass, also many people in Italy, it's not so distinct like it is, for example, here in the United States, that people are either religious or they are not. And if they are religious, they are very religious. If they're not religious, they are absolutely not stepping into a church. In Italy, there is a lot of gray zone. There are very few people who are very, very religious, and not so many people who are completely not religious. There is a lot of, people in the middle who, maybe they go to mass once in sometimes, maybe they go to mass only for Christmas and Easter. Maybe they never go to mass, but when they are alone at home, sometimes they pray God. So it's there are a lot of nuances to religion in Italy, and that's why I was very surprised when I came to the United States and I saw how religion is perceived here. Here it's really a matter of black or white. You are either that or you are not. It's like 2 different cliques, No, in Italy there are a lot of people who never go to mass, a lot of people who don't even know if they believe in God or not, if they believe in the whole story of Jesus or not, but they still go to mass on Christmas night at midnight because it's the tradition. Maybe they want to go together with their family, or maybe they want to maybe they have an elderly mother and they want to accompany her and stuff like that. Therefore, on the Christmas Eve during the night, the church is completely filled to the brim usually. And then there are those people which I was part of for several years when I was a teenager, who do not go to the church, but they still want to be part of the Christmas atmosphere and they want to be part of the community. So we usually wait for the mass to be over at the bar in front of the church. That's what I did since I was 15 till 20 and something. I still go when I'm in my hometown, you know, and I have energies on Christmas. Last year I didn't do it because I was at the dinner with other relatives, but usually we go there and you know, we drink prosecco and we toast together with other people in the bar, and then when the mass is finally over, we get out and there is this beautiful 45 people gather together in the piazza of the town, and we exchange the auguri. It's like we say Merry Christmas to each other, and the way we do it is we do a handshake to the person and 2 kisses on the cheeks. This, I know it sounds very strange to several people that we kiss on the cheek, but we do it to everyone, you know, no matter the gender, no matter the age, no matter how well you know the person or not. Even if it's a person that you've seen maybe twice in your life, you still, oh, hey, auguri, and you kiss on the cheeks. And that's a very beautiful moment. And when that's finished, there are the drunks of the town and there are the others who just go to sleep very, you know, tipsy and very happy, and they get a nice rest for the next morning, because Christmas Day, it's very exhausting for us, so we need a good rest. Let's see what you're saying. Let me check out these 2 super chat. Elisa52, grazie, una super chat dall'Italia. Many kisses to you. Thank you for the super chat. And time for a kiss. Top 3 countries you would like to eat your way through. You mean for Christmas? I have the answer. Let's set aside Italy, because obviously that would be my top 3. No, it would be Hungary, I'm uncertain between Poland and Slovakia. I will go with Slovakia because it's a smaller country, so I want to support them. So Hungary on top, Slovakia, and again, I'm uncertain between Germany and Austria, but I will go with Austria because it's a smaller country. So Hungary, Slovakia, Austria. Yes. Stephanie, my friend's Italian mom just celebrated her 100th birthday. Wow! Happy birthday to your friend's mom. That's amazing. 100 years. So many experiences. Visit the ex-in-laws. Silver lining of divorce, no more in-laws. Thanks for sharing that. Yes, time for a kiss. Stephanie says, we've been waiting for your creative questions, and I agree with Stephanie. Judith encourages you to hit the like button to this live stream. So again, about the Messiah, Handel's Messiah, Rachel says it's a whole concert in 4-part harmony. I think it lasts post a link in the comments of this live stream so we can all go and check it out. So I know that Kalkan is answering a lot of questions. I'm sorry I was ignoring you. Now I'm gonna check them out. You're gonna have the priority. So if you want to, Kalkan, if you want to ask a question, please do it now. I'm gonna read it. Another super chat with creative question from Time for a Kiss. Thank you for the $5. I'm gonna answer to this one first, and then I'm gonna scroll back because I've seen a lot of other questions. If we visited you, what food or drink would you serve us? What would we do? Assuming you had the space and time. Love you. Thank you, Time for a Kiss. You mean for Christmas, right? So, I would... I love simple meals at home with not loads of decorations or anything, just a nice clean cloth on the table, and a nice porcelain dishes, you know, glasses, and then metal cutlery. I'm specifying this because I know that in the United States, many people, even when they have guests, they use plastic everything. That's really not how it works in Italy. And I would certainly, very first thing, you enter my house and I would give you a fresh glass of, I would open a Prosecco, I would pour it into glasses, aperitivo glasses, and giving it to you. I strongly believe that every guest in the house needs a glass of wine, because wine helps with breaking the ice, helps with being more social, and maybe some people are thirsty too. So that's it. I would also ask you if you want a glass of water, because usually people only serve wine at these kind of gatherings, and I usually get so thirsty and then I get a headache because I'm dehydrated and stuff like that. So I'm very obsessed with offering water together with wine. Then I would, after we chat for half an hour with the wine, we wait for all the guests to arrive, I would start putting out a few trays with antipasti, which are small snacks, and of various type. They are usually cold, so you don't have to worry about them getting cold, you know, they are already cold. And then after, I don't know, 45 minutes, 1 hour since you've arrived, you will be seated at the table. And then you will be poured other wine, because, you know, there is wine for the aperitivo, antipasti, and then there is another wine for the actual meal, which is usually maybe a red wine, you know. And I would finally serve the first course, which would be probably lasagne. And it is actually what I'm gonna make in a couple of days for Christmas this year. Lasagna alla bolognese, by the way, not the Neapolitaner version. And that's it. And then I don't continue because, you know, our meals last 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. So I guess I've said enough. Okay, let me scroll back a little bit. By the way, I'm looking for some new comments from questions from Kalkan, but I haven't found any. So okay, there we go. Steven says, such masses are a spectacle to see. Actually, I agree. Many non-religious people are very hostile towards religious celebrations, especially in the Christian world. But I think that, you know, masses can be enjoyed by people who are not religious. They are very often, you know, spectacles. There is beautiful music, beautiful chanting and everything. Or beautiful rites also, like the things that the priest does, they can be beautiful. So why not? Even if you're not religious, it doesn't mean that you cannot enjoy a mass. Hello, Hiking with Marty! Hiking with Marty has started a YouTube channel about hiking in Slovenia. And I met him or her, I don't know if Marty is a female or male, through a comment left on one of my videos, and then I started watching the channel. So shout out to Hiking with Marty, check it out. Matt Colusi, my family came from Friuli. Could you talk about food tradition in Friuli specifically? In a moment, absolutely. We have food that only exists in our region, and I'm gonna talk about it in a moment. By the way, Colusi with the Y at the end is quite hilarious for an Italian like me. If you have audio and video out of sync, just refresh the page, please, because I cannot fix the problem. Oh, Sabine from Alto Adige, which is a region in Friuli, a very small region on the Alps, says that it's tradition that the kid Jesus, how do you say, child Jesus comes to give the gifts to the kids on Christmas Eve, on the evening of the Christmas Eve. That's something that I've heard already. I don't know why I forgot to mention it. Even in my hometown, I know that some people receive gifts from child Jesus. I don't know how to call it in English. I see other Italians from Canada, Jason. Ooh, Major Roper from New Zealand. Hello, Merry Christmas there. Patrick, hello. Johnny Fritz, also, it's been a while. Hello, welcome. So, Kalkan asked, what do you eat for Vigilia? Vigilia it means Eve in Italian, so it's the 24th. So, as I said, in the south, I believe they eat fish. And I've also heard that it's very typical to eat eel on Christmas Eve in the south. I'm not sure about this because, as I said, I have no certain knowledge about this. This is just things that I've heard randomly. Also, some people in my region eat fish. For example, my cousin, I think they make fish in the Christmas Eve. But I don't know if they got that tradition from the south, you know. That could be actually. In Friuli, we actually have a traditional food for the Vigilia, the Christmas Eve, which is the tripes. So for who was asking me earlier, what is a traditional food from Friuli? There you go. These are tripes, a picture that I got from the internet. Sorry. You may like it or not. I spent years and years of my life disgusted by only the smell and the view of tripes. But now, since a few years, I started eating them. And now I absolutely love them and I miss them. And this picture makes my mouth watery, actually. This is, so the name in Italian would be trippe alla friulana. This is how we call them. I know that in the rest of Italy they make fun of us because we say trippe and not trippa, singular, whatever, we say trippe. And this is very traditional to be served by many trattorie, osterie, restaurants in general, like very rural, how do you say, not rural restaurants on the Christmas Eve. my aunt and uncle, for example, they always go on Christmas Eve together. They gather together with their friends in our trattoria of the town, and they eat tripe. I don't know how they do it, because in the next day they eat with us all day. Sabina says, basically, in Alto Adige, we do not celebrate Santa Claus, but baby Jesus. Baby Jesus, that's how you say. Gifts are exchanged on the 24th, not the 25th. This is, I guess, the same in Austria as well as in Slovakia, etc. Antonella Bruzzese says, so you use trippa in place of pasta? No, because trippa is a stew, you know, so pasta is completely different preparation. Trippa is a very long process, you know. Auke, hello Auke. This question I don't know how to answer. What are these tripes made of? Trippe. I never remember. I know I believe it's the stomach or the intestines. It's somewhere in some organ, some digestive organ of some animal. Also the animal, I don't remember if it's the beef or the pork. I would say pork, because in Friuli we make everything with pork, but I might be wrong. Sorry about that. Served back when Italy was Rome. When Italy was the Roman Empire, you mean? Like 2000 years ago? No, I don't know. Hello, Dean. Merry Christmas. Okay, Rachel says that they are intestines, but then stomach. So, is there any Friulan on the chat? You know what? Mamma e papà. My parents, I think they are listening. They're following the live stream. Mamma e papà, stiamo parlando delle trippe. Che cosa sono? Mi hanno chiesto. Che cosa sono? Mi potete scrivere un commento? Sono maiale o mucca e sono intestino o stomaco? Non so cosa rispondere. I was asking to my parents in Italian so that they can understand. They can only get some things in English. Stephanie says, I used to go to my Italian step grandmas every year for seafood. Ah, see? They were from the south for sure. Wait, served with polenta. Polenta is from the north though. And teleme cheese. Do you eat this, Mary Jane? So good. And they then finish the sauce over pasta. No, we don't. As I said, in my family we don't eat fish. But I know that other Friulan families, they do eat fish. So even in the north. So I don't know really. So I believe the tribes are cow's intestines. Not 100% sure. Andrea Avila, trippe sounds like the worst nightmare for a vegan. No, why? You know, it depends what kind of a vegan he is. If he's vegan because he believes that animals should be treated like humans, yes. But if he's vegan for environmental reasons, for example, which is the only kind of veganism that makes sense to me, honestly, then he would be happy about it, because, you know, tribes are a way to use the whole animal once you kill it. So why not? Steak is the worst nightmare for a vegan. Santa, I love you. Why you have a channel name What a Shame Mary Jane? I never revealed it yet. I know. I actually promised page to reveal it in my Patreon page, and I will for sure maintain my promise. I just, you know, don't know how to, because I need to be in Italy to reveal this, to make the video to reveal this, and now I'm not in Italy anymore, so that's the problem. But I will reveal what's to my patrons. Let's go on with Italian food for Christmas, please, because we haven't gotten, you know, to the actual Christmas. So, Christmas Day is what Christmas is about in Italy. I see that here in the United States, for example, I keep making comparison with the United States because I'm living here right now, but you tell me in other countries how it is. Here, Christmas is more in general, like the entire month. The whole buying gifts is a big thing. The whole, you know, Christmas markets, for example, is a big thing. I would say in Italy we are more about the Christmas day. Like, it's all about the Christmas day, all about family and food. So Christmas Day, there are two types of families, I would say. No, three types of families. There are the families who just celebrate with a small circle of family, so just the parents with the siblings, you know. I know a few families from my hometown that are like that. And then there are the other two types of families who gather together with, you know, the extensive family. So also cousins and far further relatives and uncles and second cousins and all that stuff. And of these families, there are two types. One that hosts and the other one that is the guest. Usually, you are both in different moments of the Christmas day. Or you are, for example, in my family, we do usually 1 year one family hosts, 1 year the other family hosts. You know, like we alternate a little bit. So it depends. Then some families, there is one person who cooks for 20 people. Some other families, every person brings something from home. And then what do we eat? So the first part of the lunch is, like I told earlier, you open a bottle of Prosecco or spumante, like a bubbly, white, cool wine, to toast for aperitivo and to wait for everyone to arrive. And in the meantime, you have little snacks. In Italy, remember, we never drink alcohol without snacks, without something to eat, unless, you know, you want to get drunk in the club at night. But usually when you usually drink, you always eat something. So we have little snacks, we have grissini, some cheese, we have some salame, and so on. And then we have antipasti. Antipasti are usually all those veggies that you preserved in the summer. Now it's the time to take them out of the jars and put them on a tray and put them in the middle of the table. And then, especially in my region, Friuli, as antipasti, we also have all that beautiful charcuterie, I think it's called in English. Is it called charcuterie? Basically, the cured meats. So salame, la coppa, la pancetta rotolata, all these things that il prosciutto, all these things that you slice very, very thinly, meats that you slice very, very thinly, and you eat them with bread and wine, of course. Someone is getting hungry. So then we arrive to the first course. First course of Christmas meal, the most common food all over Italy, I believe, or at least all over the northern part, the northern half of Italy, is tortellini in brodo. Do you know what tortellini in brodo are? I prepared a picture for you. This is tortellini in brodo. It's something absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. Oh my god. So brodo is the bouillon, the liquid part, and we prepare it with by boiling meat, pieces of meat inside it, that then we're gonna have a second course, by the way, and then these are tortellini, I guess. Some people use cappelletti, which are very similar to tortellini. Tortellini is actually a food typical from the region of Emilia-Romagna, which is right in the center of Italy, center north of Italy. But in the past few decades, it's spread all over Italy. So now even in Friuli, very typical tortellini in brodo for Christmas. They cannot miss. Other first courses for Christmas meal are different things like risotto. Could be risotto with seasonal things like radicchio and sausage, for example, or mushrooms, or squash. And crespella is another thing. In my family, sometimes my aunt does it, and I love them. Crespella is like crepes, like savory crepes that you kind of fold with some filling inside, and then you put them in the oven to make them crispy on the surface. Or lasagne is also very common. And actually, lasagne is what my mother will prepare this year for Christmas. So I decided to prepare it too, here in New York City. So to answer to who was asking earlier, this year for Christmas, I'm gonna be in video conference with my family all the time, hopefully. And since we're gonna be in video call, I decided to make lasagne alla bolognese, the same thing that they are gonna eat. So that's it. And then, let's see. Actually, let me see what you're writing here. Auke asks, do they decorate Christmas trees in Friuli? Yes, they do. Christmas tree, as I was saying in the first part of the live stream, is the biggest decoration for Christmas, together with the Presepe, which is very typical Italian, I think. Christmas trees usually have, for sure, the lights. And then, some people put the balls that you buy. But usually in the families, I was saying earlier, kids in schools tend to prepare little decorations for the Christmas tree. For example, I don't know, you can make little angels with pieces of pasta, and then you spray them with golden spray. Or you can make little things with like a wooden stick and a ribbon or something. Or you can make little glass things that you paint with some colored gloss, and then you put a ribbon to hang them. Or you can even make cookies and hang them on the tree. We've never done that because we usually eat the cookies, but some people hang them on the tree. What did I want to say now? Yeah, I wanted to say something. Another difference between Christmas trees in the United States and Christmas trees in Italy. Here they are much, much more full of decorations. So you can barely see the actual tree and the actual branches because they put so many balls and decorations and glittery things and lights that they are very. It's like the sandwiches. The sandwiches here in the United States, they are so full of filling that you can barely taste the bread in the end, whereas in Italy it's the opposite. It's mainly bread and then a little bit of something in the inside. It's the same for Christmas trees. Judith, thank you for the super chat. I shouldn't yell because I know that this microphone is very sensitive. To celebrate you during the holidays. Best wishes for a wonderful and peaceful new year. Thank you very much, Judith. I wish you the same thing for you, especially for a wonderful and peaceful new year. I like that. Mitch from Brooklyn. On Christmas Eve here in Brooklyn, Italian families have the Feast of the Seven Fishes. Is that a thing in Italy? Not in the Italy that I know. I am sorry, I've never heard. The Feast of the Seven Fishes. La Festa dei Sette Pesci. Something religious, symbolical, religious? I don't know. You know, this is the 100th example of how Italian American culture is completely different than modern Italian culture. I don't know if they are celebrating these things because they were things that Italians used to celebrate at the beginning of the past century, or if they picked this tradition after they came here to the United States. I don't know, but they are very often something that I've never heard about. Presepe is called crib. Marcello Carta says in English. I think crib is simply the place where you put the baby. So the place where is baby Jesus. But the Presepe is a whole scene. Carbonero says, you don't... In South America, our Italian culture is different from both. Where are you from, Carbonero? Maybe Argentina? Random Lime says, my grandmother is pure Italian and she won't touch any type of fish at all. Yes, that's what we do too in my family. We don't really eat fish much. Judith says, a friend of mine whose family is from Bari, Apulia, celebrates this feast of seven fishes every year. I told you, maybe it's a southern celebration. Ahmed says, we want you to do a live broadcast every day. But then I want you to go outdoors and live your life and not stay in front of your computer or in front of your screen. That's why I will never do a live stream every day. Charles asks, the super chats, are they done on Patreon or somewhere else? No, the super chats are something different than Patreon. Patreon is kind of a subscription platform that is completely different from YouTube. You can subscribe there and offer me like $2 per month or $10 per month or whatever you want, really. Super chats are little donations that you can do during the live streams, and they are just done through the platform of YouTube. And 30% of these super chats stay to YouTube as a fee, and then 70% goes to the creator. Much better than Argentina. Do you have a lot of people from Italian heritage in Uruguay? Steve M, best way to prepare calamari as a side dish. Again, I'm not a fish expert. I like fish, but I never prepare it. Ahmed, this is the best channel for me. Thank you so much. That's so nice of you to say that and to think that. Oh, be careful here between Uruguayan and Argentinian. Nobody is better than nobody. Don't fight over it now. Okay, Carbonero says that Argentina, Uruguay, and south of Brazil, Italian culture is kind of melted into the Spanish one. Hello, Thomas from Germany. Happy holidays to you too. Berdan from Turkey. Hi there. Diane asks if I ski, sled, or ice skate. No, I'm not a big skier, honestly. I usually go to ski maybe once per year. I'm a terrible ice skater because I'm always terrified of falling on the ice and hurting myself badly. David says, I think you'd like barbecued Pacific salmon. It's unlike anything else. David, I agree with you, honestly. I love salmon. I absolutely love salmon. But it's a food that I try not to eat too much because I know that it's, environmentally, I don't remember, I haven't done a lot of research about it, but I believe that salmon is not, how do you say, overexploited. Like our resources of salmon are overexploited, so we have to farm salmon in order to eat it, and that creates, first of all, a lower quality of salmon meat, and also problems that I don't remember, but I know that, for example, here in the United States, you find salmon everywhere. It's like chicken. Salmon is like the chicken of fish. In Italy or in Europe in general, salmon is something very kind of like it's reserved for special occasions. It's not everyday food, Even in Norway, honestly, where Norway is famous for producing salmon, it's not really a food that you eat on almost a daily basis. It's something that you have a couple of times per month, based on my experience. Paolo Astolfi, da Rimini, Emilia Romagna, the region that I was telling you about. Ho parlato dei cappelletti romagnoli. So he's asking me, obviously, because we are talking about Christmas food, if I talked about the cappelletti or tortellini. Ho menzionato, Paolo, i cappelletti e i tortellini perché ho detto che sono cibi tipicamente dell'Emilia Romagna che si sono diffusi in tutta Italia, e quindi anche noi in Friuli, ad esempio, proprio un must per il pranzo di Natale o la cena, nella mia famiglia la cena, sono i tortellini in brodo. Però alcuni dei miei amici fanno anche i cappelletti in brodo. Allora io me la sono letta su internet. Why am I talking in Italian now? I'm very sorry. I'm talking about tortellini and cappelletti, which are something very similar, but they belong to different regions of Emilia-Romagna region. And I know that the two parts even fight with each other a little bit. Stephanie says, my favorite is Chilean sea bass, which is also protected and hard to get at times. Good to know. If you know anything about fish that we can eat without harming the environment in the United States, let me know, even by email or by private messaging, because it's a topic that I don't know much about. I know what kind of fish is sustainable in Italy to eat, but not in the United States, so I would like to know. Okay, so some people like to hear me talking in Italian even if they don't understand anything. Stephanie says, we don't mind, it's live music. Giorgio Azzam, buon Natale dal Friuli, buon Natale anche a te, Giorgio, a te, a voi, a tutta la famiglia. Dal Friuli, da dove in Friuli? Giorgio is from the same region I am from. Paul from Liverpool, Great Britain. Ahmed, I visited Egypt once in my life, yes. Charles Black Bingham. Thank you so much for the super chat, Charles. And thank you so much. Grazie a Paolo Dairos per la super chat. E buon Natale a Cremona, a Filippo. Mar dall'Istria, near Friuli. Istria is a peninsula that is right now after the Second World War, since after the Second World War, is Croatian, but it's culturally very Italian. It used to be Italian, and it's right close to my region of Friuli. Giorgio is from the southern part of Friuli, Talmassons, Flambro. Ciao Giorgio, è bello vederti nei miei live stream, almeno so che c'è qualcuno da casa. Wait, let me go on with the traditional Christmas food in Italy, because I just talked about antipasti and the first course. Let's go to the second course, which is the meats. So obviously, because this is traditional food, back in the days when Italy used to be mostly made of farmers, and they were not very wealthy people, obviously, they used to eat very poor food all year around, but when it's Christmas, you know, they give it all. They eat all the most luxurious and most fat and rich foods, right? So this is what we still do nowadays, even if we eat rich food every day now. So don't be scared by how much food and how rich of a food we eat. It's just, you know, tradition from the past. So as a second course, we usually have meat for Christmas, because again, meat was the richest of the foods, and so it's a must for Christmas. And the kind of meat that we eat can be different: roasted meat or braised meat. For example, we do il brasato, which is a piece of meat that we cook in red wine, cook slowly. Let me see if I have some pictures to show you. Yeah, so this, for example, is brasato. Let me put some pictures so you can understand. This is brasato with the sides of veggies, obviously. This is another roasted meat. You know, we have this kind of arrosto, we call it. It's a piece of meat that you put some spices inside, like sage, rosemary, pepper, and so on, and then you roll the meat, and then you tie it up, you roast it, and then you cut it in slices. And it has all its own sauce in the end. It's delicious. What else? Different types of stews. For example, in the more rural parts of Italy, it's common to make gamey meats. I have a friend in my hometown whose relatives they are hunters. They go hunting wild animals. So they usually have either boar or, which is cinghiale in Italian, or what in Italian is capriolo, which I've looked up at the translation is raw deer. Not sure if you know what it is. Anyway, that's what we have. Let me see if I have something. Oh, something else is cappone that we have. And this is something my mom makes for every Christmas, because she has a very nice patient who has the farm and who always gifts one capone for Christmas, so she makes it for the Christmas day. Capone is a very big chicken, and I don't know the specs of the animal. I believe it's how do you say, castrato. That maybe it's a rooster that cannot reproduce, something like that, so it grows a little bit bigger, and it's delicious, obviously. Giorgio, adesso ci arrivo al musette brovade, lo tengo come gran finale. I'm reading your chat, trying to understand what you're talking about in the chat. No, I don't think you're commenting on this. Okay, like Al Capone, yes, exactly. No, it's not like Al Capone, because this one is Capone with 2 P's, whereas Al Capone has only 1 P. No, this is, by the way, a curiosity. It's something I was teaching Italian in the past few months to a friend of mine, to teach her the right pronunciation of Italian words. And you know that we have sometimes double consonant, like Capone, it's like Al Capone, but with 2 P's. And it's very different if you pronounce it with 1 P or a completely different word, and it sounds different. And I think it's very difficult for foreigners to understand this. Yeah, whatever. For us, it's just natural to pronounce either 1 or 2 consonants, you know? It's capone, cappone, capone, cappone. The first one is 1 P, the second with 2 P's. I don't know if you hear the difference. So these are, let me clear out some of these pictures. We are talking about the second courses of Christmas meal in Italy. What other pictures did I have? Oh, I had the, you know, the lasagna also. Well, you all know lasagna, but I know that many, especially in the United States, because they had so many Italian immigrants, they know only the lasagna from Naples, which I honestly had no idea. It's a completely different lasagna than we have in the north. And I learned it by coming here in the United States. I had no idea that there were other lasagnas except this one. This one in this picture is the lasagna alla bolognese. It's the one that we make at home in my family all the time, and the most typical in the north of Italy. And it's the one that I'm gonna do for Christmas this year. That's a nice picture, isn't it? Ossobuco is also a good one. I love ossobuco. It's the how do you call ossobuco in English? It's one of my favorite meal dishes, honestly. Oh, Himanshu has come to the chat. Hello there. Let's see what you're writing in the chat, because I'm a bit lost here. Oh, Charles says a capon chicken, in English, capon chicken, desexed male. Exactly what it is. Thank you, Charles. Himanshu says, my sister and my girlfriend make a nice veggie lasagna or veggie lasagna. I know not the same, but we like it. Actually, we do. We make different types of lasagna, especially for Christmas Day. This is something I could talk about because, you know, the lasagna that I showed you is the classic bolognese, lasagna alla bolognese with the meat sauce. But for Christmas, and it's the most common one, but then for Christmas, sometimes you want to do something different, something more special. So you make a lasagna with other main ingredients. So a very common one, for example, it's the squash lasagna. You put squash instead of bolognese sauce. The mushroom lasagna, oh my god, that's amazing. Or a leek lasagna, or radicchio lasagna. Radicchio lasagna, oh my god, that's also a very good one for Christmas. Stephanie asks, why isn't it a rooster, referring to the cappone? Because it's fertile. So the rooster is a male that can, how do you say, fertilize the chickens. The cappone is a male that has been desexed. Do you say desexed? I hope so. Like he cannot reproduce, sexually reproduce. Antonello says that lasagna is the best invention ever made, and I can agree with that, honestly. Stephanie asks, a good question. What is the difference between bolognese and ragu, which is ragu in Italian? Bolognese is the formal name for ragu, simply. So at home in my family, for example, we make it all the time. It's a staple. We always have, you know, a jar of this sauce in the freezer, for example. My mom is a specialist for this. And we call it ragu. We don't say bolognese. We call it ragu. But if I have to talk to foreigners, I say salsa alla bolognese or bolognese sauce. How is the difference between the two words perceived in the United States, for example? Like if I say ragu, will the people understand me here? Hello, Ken! Happy holidays to you too! Okay, we've done... Kay LeBlanc, hello from France. Hi MJ, happy holidays to you too. Have you had chestnut this season? If so, how do they compare to the ones you ate in your video where you were hiking in Friuli? Best video I've seen in your channel. Oh wow, thank you. So Kay LeBlanc is referring to a video that I actually posted in the description of my last live stream. I can post it in the description of this too, just give me a few hours. And I went to a chestnut festival in my region, Friuli, in a very small town. It's such a lovely festival. And let me go get them, 1 second. I haven't had, usually chestnuts in Italy are typical food for the fall. So October through November, beginning of December. It's not really food for the Christmas period. But this year I haven't had any chestnut for the entire fall because I thought that here they didn't exist. Some of my farmer friends in New Hampshire actually told me that I don't know how many years ago, maybe 50 or 70 years ago, there has been a disease that hit all the chestnut trees in the United States, or at least in New England, and it kind of destroyed the whole population of chestnuts. So they used to have chestnuts, but now they don't anymore. It's something only a few farmers have, you know, like an individual chestnut tree maybe in the backyard or something. But I'm gonna be back in a second. So, wait, microphone first. So the other day, the other night, I told you earlier that I went to dinner to this friend of mine who is Serbian. And he offered me chestnuts. And I was shocked because for the first time, I was thinking about chestnuts all the fall. Basically, he gave me the rest of the bag that he had, which is this. And look at that. Imported from Italy! Damn! They import chestnuts from Italy. I had no idea. Yeah, so yeah, whatever. These are the chestnuts and they are delicious. They were delicious. That's why I was shocked, because I was like, not only there are chestnuts in the United States, but they are also delicious as they are in Friuli. And then I discovered that they actually are imported from Italy. And let's see where they are from. I haven't looked at it actually. You know what? This is one of those things in the United States that drive me crazy. You buy food and they never tell you where it's from. You can never track back where it was produced, where it was. They only say product of Italy. Like, you know, like Italy was a farm. And then they say it was packaged in the Bronx. No, packaged for Bronx. So, I don't know where it's from. Let's see what you're writing in the chat. Charles says, yes, there was a blight. I don't know what a blight is. That destroyed the trees. Still a few when I was a wee nipper back in Ontario. Himanshu also says, yes, the American chestnut trees are almost all gone. There are efforts to bring them back. I'm a tree tender, so I know. You're a tree tender? Himanshu, tell us more about your job, please. It sounds amazing, but I don't really know what it is. Time for a Kiss says, many American European women go to Italy to date the Italian men. Really? Are Italian men really that great? I don't know. Why do they come to Italy to date Italian men? I think. I'm thinking about Italian men. I don't really know how to answer because, you know, I'm not a big dater person, but I've certainly had several Italian boyfriends, and I've dated in Germany as well, so I can maybe compare the two countries and you can get a perspective on Italian men from my perspective of my, you know, German experience. So if you're used to German men, then Italian men are very much straightforward and they are way more proactive. And so I don't know how it is in other cultures, honestly. Have I dated in the United States? Not really. No, I dated the person that now is my husband, so and he's Turkish as well, so he cannot be considered American. But and they kind of try to get in contact with you in a very, like, you understand that they want to have a, you know, either sexual or a, how to say, romance relationship with you. They don't just want your friendship. I don't know, I'm used to befriend with a man first, and then, you know, if there is something more from both sides, then something more happens. But unless I'm just looking, you know, for an adventure, I go for the friendship first. So I don't know. German men, for example, are very, very cold. There is a whole battle of genders there in Germany. You know, the feminism of Germans goes through the fact that German men are not supposed to hit on women, so they don't. And it's true even the opposite, the fact that German men expect women to hit on them, which was obviously very strange for me. I was actually looking for dating adventures when I moved to Germany, and for the first months it was terrible because I was every German man was completely indifferent to me, like completely. I thought I turned into a monster immediately. And then I discovered that it's simply that you as a woman are supposed to go to them. So if you are German and you happen to go to Italy, then you will find Italian men very, you know, passionate and very forward and very proactive. But for me, that's the normality, you know. This doesn't mean that if you're a woman you cannot be proactive towards a man that you happen to like, but it's usually more normal for men to go to women. That's it. So maybe I'm just describing all these things because I'm thinking that maybe that's why foreigner women go to Italy to date Italian men, because they have to do less work probably. I think that we women are very lazy in Italy in the dating scene because we literally don't have to do anything. You just stay there and wait, and men come. Have the need to be proactive with men because yeah, that's it. Let's see what you are saying in the chat. Oh, by the way, oh wait, you were texting so much. Wait. So he mentioned you about his job. Tree tenders are volunteers who are trained to plant, prune, and take care of trees. The PA is Pennsylvania for who is not American. The PA Horticultural Society trains us. So it's a volunteer effort since I love trees and I want more of them. Oh my God. Is there something like that also in New York? You know, I could think about becoming I don't remember the term, a volunteer myself for taking care of trees, although I think based on how the system works here in the United States, that people get paid for doing literally everything, this should be a paid job. Like, you are doing something very important for the community and for the environment that people around there live in, so you should be paid whatever. But that's my problem with volunteering for different activities here in the United States, by the way, that I would love to volunteer in other countries, but here I feel like I have to pay everyone to do anything, so I don't want to do anything for free, which is a side of me that I don't like. I don't like to have this mentality, but the system that is in place here made me have this mentality. So if you have any word of encouragement for me to get rid of this mentality, please, because I don't like it. You're talking about The Sopranos? I never watched it. I don't know what it is exactly. Tree tender. Emily! Emily! I got your postcard! Send me your address! You forgot to write your address! Are you still online? Oh my god! My fellow workaway, Emily! I was so happy to receive your postcard, but I was pissed because I don't have your address. I didn't ask it to you when we were together, and you didn't write it in the postcard, obviously, because it's a postcard, it's not a letter. So I don't have it, but I want to send you a letter, you know, so please send me something. Ooh, Stephanie posted an interesting discussion about American chestnut trees. Please, Stephanie, don't leave it only here in the live chat. Post it also in the comments below, so it's gonna be more, you know, visible. Himanshu answers, American sense of civic duty and pride means it requires private donations, private volunteering efforts. You're right. Most others are used to public funding, which is equitable in Europe. Yeah, that's true, Himanshu. If you don't do something yourself as a private citizen, nobody is going to. There are no public efforts made for that. Okay, yes, Emily Fetter is the Emily. She's the Emily. Okay, that's great, Emily. Send me an email. You have to have my email. If you don't, you can send me to the blog email, mj@watershamerjane.com. Oh, I'm so glad that you stopped by at the live stream, Emily, so I could talk to you also. Time for a Kiss says, many Swedish and UK women like to go to Italy too to date Italian men. They usually say they like Italian men's fashion, good looks, romance, culture, language, history and food. Well, for the food, for sure. That I can agree. If I were a foreigner woman, I would also date Italian men for food, probably. Yeah, that's true. For the rest, men's fashion, that's another thing that, you know, for me, Italians wear just standard clothes, but then when I go to foreigner countries, I realize that people are so badly dressed, so maybe I should, you know, reconsider my standards and, you know, actually realize that we have higher standards. That's the problem. Time for a kiss. Don't forget to do a reaction video about Conan and Jordan Schlansky's Italy. I was trying in the past days to remember the name, to look into it, but I didn't. And please send me the link, or at least write me the name in the comments of this live stream so that it stays, because I don't go back into the live chat of 2 hours of live stream just to look for this name. Do you understand what I meant? Make a public stream. Al Palacios, MJ, what do you think about the memes of Italy around the internet? I don't know what memes. You should send them to me. Kayla Blank. So American individualism is not just an urban legend. No, it's not. Is that bad or people exaggerate? I mean, I don't know if bad in this case is a quantitative adjective or a qualitative adjective, because if it's qualitative, I think that for many people, individualism is good. For me, to be honest, it's not. I cannot be diplomatic in this case. I think individualism, and I am a very individual, like very, how do you say, individuum-oriented person. But I also realize that we need communities in our world, and we don't need people to be by their own. It's not a model that it's working, and the United States are showing to the entire world how this model is not working. It's just creating so many, problems in society, and problems also at the health level. Mental health is so bad in the United States, and I am 100% sure that this mentality of individualism is a big cause of it. Kay Blanc is from France, by the way. But for sure, it's not an urban legend. This is a very, very, very individualistic country. And coming from Europe, I heard that Germany is one of those individualistic countries. And I lived in Germany for 1 year, so I know the culture there. And I never found it being that individualistic, honestly. Just maybe a little bit less family-oriented than Italy. But that doesn't mean that it's very individualistic. So I was always confused about this term, individualism. And then I came to the United States and I realized what it means. And I don't like it at all. There are aspects that I like about individualism, because I'm a person who lives very well alone and does everything by herself very pleasantly. But I hope I explain myself enough. Gary McGregor about volunteering. Let's read this comment. Volunteering is about you and what you are accomplishing because you think it should be done. I used to volunteer at seniors nursing facility, and it was its own reward. Yes, Gary, exactly. Gary explained exactly how volunteering works in the United States. Volunteering is about you and what you accomplish because you think that it's good and you think it should be done. And this is, for an Italian like me, a very wrong mentality, simply because you should do something not because you think it's good and because it's rewarding to you, but because the community thinks, like it's a community effort that thinks that there should be volunteers to do something, and then the reward is not the sense of accomplishment that you get. It should be simply the fact that you've done your civic duty for your community. You give something out in while thinking that that by having a community you have like sort of like a safety, not a safety net, it's like a net of people, like a network of people that help each other and support each other. And even if you are a person that is very like me, I'm not a very a super social person usually. I mean, I'm social, but I'm not one of those people who needs constant company in her life and needs to be in community all the time and be part of groups to be, justified as a human being. I like to be by myself and spend time by myself in silence without talking with anybody. But I also recognize the value of living in a community. And from my point of view, I think it's important to give to the community you're part of, even if you are not taking anything back directly. You know what I mean? Just because it's your duty as a citizen, as a social human, really, to contribute to the community. That's all. David asks if there's snow on the ground in New York City. I think today it got completely, you see there are still very little spots here, the bottom of the bicycle, but it turned very warm today, I would say. Maybe on the Christmas day we're gonna have a little bit of snow more, but we don't know yet. Let's see. Wait, there are so many comments and I really want to read them. In the meantime, Soul asks if I've ever been in Poland. Yes. Can you say something in Polish? I can say smacznego, and that's pretty much it, I think. And Polish is a pretty difficult language to pronounce. Stephanie says humans need each other. These live streams provide community. Stephanie, that's one of the most beautiful things that you could tell me as a content creator, really. I'm really glad that you feel part of a community through my channel. And actually, this is something I was talking about in private emails with Johnny Crash, which is one of my patrons. And he was actually saying that he would have expected on my Patreon page, for example, with other patrons, to have more sense of community, more interaction with other patrons. And he was a bit disappointed that it's not happening that much. So just food for thoughts. Brian F says, individualism is very bad in the US. Results in tens of thousands of deaths in the US each year that do not occur in Canada or European countries. But Brian, how do you correlate these deaths with individualism? It's not clear from your comment, I think. Some people are also talking in the chat about gumara, which I believe is comare, which in the southern pronunciation is gomare, probably. I don't know. They read the C at the beginning of the word like a G. It's comare. Himanshu about communities in the United States. In America, you create your own community via what you like or what you program, effort you cherish. Government is there for safety net, but you go above and beyond for things you appreciate. So it is individualism, but you make your own community, like the community you met in New Hampshire. They came together out of individual effort. Absolutely true. Himanshu made a very appropriate description of how communities work here in the United States. The fact that this country is very individualistic doesn't mean that it doesn't have communities. There obviously are many communities here, even more than, in Italy, for example. Not more, it's just different. Here, for example, family can be not a community, meaning that there are families that are not necessarily very close. Maybe they meet once a year and that's it. In Italy, it's almost mandatory that your family is a big deal in your life. You are part of that group of people. In the United States versus in Italy, the communities are formed because you have an interest in common with other people and you go out there and proactively form a group and gather together other people that have a common interest. So you can see a very positive aspect in this, right? The fact that communities are not random just because you have the same blood, for example, or you come to live in the same town, but because you have an interest in common. So I would say communities in the United States are more specific, but they are less necessary. So if you happen to not find your own community, you're kind of screwed. And I think many people here don't have their own community. They just have random friends scattered all over the country very often.